Hey everybody, it's Jason from the Texas Gun Vault, and once again I'm coming to you with another field strip video. Today's field strip is on a really cool and interesting firearm. It's the SilencerCo Maxim 9. This is an integrally suppressed 9mm pistol. You can see we have a silencer built into the body of the firearm, and because of that we don't have a full-length slide. And this obviously works very different than many other pistols on the market, so I think it is definitely worth a field strip video. Plus, since I just got this back from the range and I'm filming a range report on it, I want to take it apart because it gets absolutely filthy. You can see that ejection port, and if I open this thing up, it is just full of carbon, so it is definitely time to get cleaned. So as always, let's start the field strip by dropping the magazine, ensuring there is no ammunition in it, and you can see how dirty that magazine is. Let's set that aside. We will visually inspect that chamber, ensure there is no ammunition in it, and it looks like we are good. We're going to start with a little button on the back right here. You can push this tab in, and when you push that tab in, you can lift up on this lever, which is on the top of the body of the firearm. So I'll rest it against the table here, push that button in, lift up on that lever. I can release the lever, and now the slide will come off the frame. You pull it back, and there's some cutouts in it for the rails, and there it is. And this bolt is kind of all one piece. You can take it down further. You have to punch out some roll pins, but it is not needed for field stripping. And you can see the recoil spring assembly right here, and obviously how dirty this thing gets. There is the firing pin block safety. Pretty standard fare for most striker fired handguns. We can set that aside. Now let's take a look at the body of the gun, and you can see how dirty the trigger mechanism gets. So now let's go to the front of the gun, and you'll notice that we have two screws here on the front. You're going to need to find the Allen wrench that fits those, and you will need to unscrew these from the front, and this will allow the silencer part of the pistol to come apart, and these baffles are held together by this very long screw. So let's take this out. Sometimes the whole rod comes out, and sometimes just the screw cap. So I got just the screw cap this time. Take out the other one. Set those aside. Then we have our front cap. And then each one of these is a baffle. And I would recommend, for the most part, taking them apart and keeping them in the correct order. And you can see how those baffles are machined. Then we have this front piece up here, which you might need to take out these screws to get out. And if these do not come out, you can use a pair of pliers, but normally they're going to come right out. There's one of the rods. And let's unscrew the other one. And yes, my fingers are getting absolutely filthy. Take that out as well. And that should allow us to take off the blast chamber. There is that. And that will allow us to get to the barrel. And so now we can really dig into this firearm and clean it up. So that is a complete field strip of the SilencerCo Maxim 9. Obviously this gun needs to be taken apart and cleaned. So I'm going to do that now, and then we're going to put it back together. So I got this Maxim 9 all cleaned up, and let me tell you, this is the most dirty pistol I have ever had to clean. It took me over an hour and a half just to get it to this point, and being OCD, I'm still not 100% happy with it. There are so many small places and crevices in this to try to get carbon buildup out. I just can't get it all. Something I did notice while cleaning that I do like about this gun is the blast chambers, or the baffles, are actually two-piece and not one. And you'll notice the main part of the baffle is attached to the chamber using these little screws. And I'm assuming that is in case there is a baffle strike, you don't have to replace the whole part. I kind of think that is a good design and well thought out. Let's go ahead and put this together by taking the frame, and we will insert our rods screw those in. You can just hand tighten those. They don't have to be super tight. And once these are all the way in, we're going to get our blast baffle or blast chamber, which is the biggest one, and we're going to put it on. And you'll know if you're doing it right if the design on the outside of the gun kind of lines up. If it does not look like the parts of the gun connect, for example, right here you'll see how the cutout is kind of angled. Everything looks like it goes together right. You know you're putting it on correctly. So for example, on the next chamber or baffle, if I put it on the wrong way, it wouldn't line up, or if I went with this one, it wouldn't do it either. So you have to make sure it's in the right order, but I think they make it relatively easy for you. And you see how that lines up there. Go to the next baffle. Then we have this really small one. And then finally we have the end cap. We can set it on the table here. We'll go to these screws, which are going to go on the ends of those rods. And you can simply finger tighten those down just to get them started. And this is what applies pressure and keeps all of the baffle stack together. And then just take that Allen wrench we used earlier and tighten those down. They do not have to be really tight, just a nice little snug fit. Don't overdo it. And that's it right there. So the whole baffle stack is back in place. Make sure it's not loose or anything. And you can see all the oil I got on the side of this. I will have to wipe this gun down once I get it all back together. The next thing we're going to do is take our slide or bolt, if you want to call it that, and you'll notice there are some channels right here on the side. So we just don't go in from the rear. We actually have to kind of come back halfway, and then it will drop down on this rail portion right here. And I've actually found this can be a little bit tricky to find where exactly it wants to go. And let me see if I can show you here, right there. So you're gonna have to come in from the back angled and then up and push it in. And it looks like we're good. Now I'm gonna put it back on the ground like when it came to disassembly, and we're gonna push that slide down. We're gonna push this button, and now we can open this lever. The slide goes in, close that lever, and then the gun is back together. We can reinsert the magazine and of course function test it. Make sure the slide holds open. We can dry fire it, and it looks like we are good. So that is how you disassemble for cleaning and maintenance a SilencerCo Maxim 9 integrally suppressed pistol. A really unique and different design, and I wanted to show you how to do this in case you own one, and I sure hope this video helps somebody in the future. So, as always, thanks for watching.